So first question for you, and you actually have two businesses. You have Conditioned Air and you have Alabama Climate Control, but I want to start out by asking you about the story of starting Conditioned Air.
Well, actually, I bought Conditioned Air. And I'd been at Siemens 7 or 8 years and had kind of I was like, it's time to move on. I need to do something. And I was probably, 35 or so. I was like, I'm running out of time. And so I started looking. I was looking at all kind of stuff. And then another friend of mine had started a business, and the man that owned our business, Phil, had contacted Frank about buying Conditioned Air. He wanted to retire. Frank's like, man, I just started this other one. I can't do it, but I got a guy you need to meet. And so I met him and came in as a 49% partner for 6 years, and then bought the other 51% out. And then I actually had met a guy that worked there that was a key cog in the company. He'd been there since 91 when the company started. And so we brought him on as a 25% partner. So he owned 25 and I owned 75%. It's so hard to scale quickly when you start from the ground up. You can't do it. It's your growth is really slow. You got no infrastructure. And that's one of the problems in the air conditioning. Or that's not a problem. It's just what you see in the air conditioning. Conditioned Air is a commercial and industrial contractor, but if you look around most people are going to know all the residential guys that work on their house. You look around at those guys, and most of them are going to be between, say, $600,000 a year in revenue and $1.5 million a year in revenue, and that's where they're at. And most of the owners are in the field working.
Well, kind of going back to Harbinger, tell me about the when I first came out there and met with you. What were your thoughts about the assessment process? Because I know that's probably something you hadn't done.
It's like, I think we've talked about it before. That was a different approach than I'd seen. But as you thought about it, it's an approach that made a lot of sense to me, because everybody, it's a lot of money. And it's like, well, you're fixing to spend a lot of money. And so you're not going to do any study on what needs to be done. You're just going to start throwing, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000 a month out on Google Ads and not even know what we're doing. That was kind of the, after, because it was a different approach, and after we talked and I got looking at it, it was like, it makes sense to pay to have something. Let's look at what we're doing good and what we're doing bad and figure out where we need to go, instead of just jumping in there and hammering down and
we can do it better.
We don't have any direction, It's just kind of like, let's just roll through this. I do feel like Sal's part of our team. Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's just easy to get. Easy to get in touch with. He always has good news. He doesn't ever bring me bad news.
Try not to.
Way to go, Sal.
It's just the way I word it.
But no, I think it's very much exactly as it was presented to me. We've been very happy in the whole process. And I think as we're figuring things out with our little group over there, what y'all do for us will continue to grow and make it better. Because, like last year, it was no fault of y'all, but we had run into some cash flow on that. And I called Sal. I was like, we got to slow up till I figure out what's going on. Why are we? Because we just had an issue. We weren't making money. And they were making money, but not anywhere close to what I thought they should have been making. And, but I was like, it was not a lack of the calls. It was a billing issue on our end. And so, but I just kind of stopped everything for a minute while we were sorting through trying to figure it. It took us a couple of months to figure it all out.
Yeah. I think that's really important for everyone to hear, because there's no magic bullet.
There is
marketing doesn't actually help you grow your business unless you have the people, you have the operations, you got the billing.
There's just so many things that go with it. My experience over here, as I think y'all got one of the coolest companies. I got to come over that one Wednesday. Was it a Wednesday I came over? And y'all had, and I think I was there just on an abnormal day, because you had the guys from overseas and everything were all zoomed in and everything. And it was just kind of a neat, just the culture of the company is one of the more unique cultures I've ever seen. And then, kind of the interesting thing, we've gone down the path with Alabama Climate, because that's where we use you guys. And so at Alabama Climate, We had been, y'all were our third marketing company in 3 years. And we've been with y'all for 2 years now and very happy. One of them was just ripping us off and wasn't doing anything. The one that we had, I think, when y'all took us over. The other one, though, we really liked, but then they got bought out by private equity, and private equity does what private equity does and destroyed that company. And so they started out great, and then 6 months into it, they got bought out, and then everybody we dealt with went away, and it was like no consistency, nothing was getting done, no regular meetings, anything. And then we found you guys, and y'all have good core values. Enjoyed meeting you, like the feel of the company. Been dealing with the same people since day one. And then you listen to our concerns, and I think we've had growing pains with you guys and, trying to figure out, but it's like everything is addressed, everything, and we're seeing tangible results. It's like I told you the other day, I had talked to you, but I told Sal the other day, I just giving him a comment, I compliment because I like to beat up on him. But, it was like I was in the office in Huntsville, and they, something came up, and one of the girls in there said something about it, and another one said, yeah, I've had 4 or 5 like that lately. And it was like people searching specifically for our competitors' names. And we had ads popping up and it wasn't just one, it was multiple competitor names they were searching for over different calls. And we were the number one, we were sponsored paid ad on Google underneath it. And they were calling us thinking they were calling our competitor, and we were able to turn them into a service call.